Tuli Reki at Linnanmäki is a ride that always intrigued me. This ride had a lot of similarities to Wild Mice coasters, but it had one key difference. The vehicles could rock and shake. Tuli Reki was the prototype Mach motion coaster, and it's the only one remaining. Mach only built 2 of these coasters, but was there a reason for this? After riding Tuli Reki, I think I know why. In this video, I'll be reviewing Tuli Reki. Mach found great success with their Wild Mouse coasters in the late 1990s and early 2000s. These coasters were popular amongst both showmen and amusement parks for their compact layouts combining terrifying hairpin turns with sharp drops. In 2004, Mach debuted the E-Motion coaster. This coaster looked like a combination of a Wild Mouse and a suspended coaster. The ride features small cars and maneuvers like a Wild Mouse coaster, but the cars had a unique spring suspension system beneath the train that would rock and shake riders throughout the course. What was supposed to be the ride's most exciting feature is actually its Achilles heel in my opinion. Mach coasters typically track quite smoothly. On the E-Motion coaster, the rocking makes the ride feel like a poorly maintained wooden roller coaster. I think Mach wanted this ride to feel like the sit-down equivalent of an Arrow suspended coaster, but Tuli Reki just feels like a wood coaster jackhammering and shimmying down the track, which is not a pleasant sensation. Maybe the side-to-side motion alone would have been okay. This is the motion that occurs in Vekoma's Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, but combining the forward and backward rocking with the side-to-side shifting just makes the vehicle feel unstable, and the motion is just downright unpleasant. The other issue is how Mach tried to induce that rocking. They wanted to make the rocking the focal point of the E-Motion coaster, similar to what Arrow did with their suspended coasters, so Mach purposefully designed imperfect transitions to initiate that rocking. But since the E-Motion cars allowed for far less motion than the suspended coasters, the vehicles cannot absorb all the forces, so riders are uncomfortably slammed around. Compare that again to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It feels like Vekoma designed the layout for traditional trains, so the swinging that the cars add is subtle and complementary. It feels fluid. On the Mach E-Motion coasters, the motion feels 100% forced and it's just uncomfortable. I suspect the limited motion and impact on rider comfort is what doomed this coaster model. Mach only built 2 in total, and Tuli Reki is the only one still operating. Mach doesn't even offer this coaster model anymore. Despite the lackluster ride, I do at least like how Tuli Reki looks. The coaster has a cool logo and backstory. The name translates to Fire Sled, and it's slightly themed to Kalevala, a Finnish epic. However, there isn't any theming along the course itself. Tuli Reki had one of the longest lines the day I visited. The coaster originally opened with 4 cars, but only operated with 1 car the day I visited. And since that car only holds 6 riders, the line moved at a snail's pace. Thankfully, the operator was able to load the cars very quickly, so a full queue line only took a half hour. The cars feel similar to the standard Mach Wild Mice coasters, with an extra row of seats. For restraints, you just have an individually ratcheting lap bar. Once dispatched, you turn to the right and quickly ascend the fairly steep 54-foot or 16.5 meter tall lift hill. And if you're lucky, you may catch a taiga train passing through its stall above your head. Once atop the lift, Tuli Reki navigates a series of hairpin turns. The first turn is the highlight of the ride. It has some strong laterals, and it's the one turn where the side-to-side rocking is most evident and actually enhances the experience. The other hairpin turns only offer weak laterals and minimally noticeable rocking. You then travel over this brief straightaway and hit the first of 2 mid-course brake runs. Now, Tuli Reki doesn't have much speed to begin with, but these brake runs take all of it away. Tuli Reki would have had bad pacing without these brake runs. With them, the pacing is downright atrocious. However, these brakes may exist as a form of mercy to minimize rider discomfort later in the ride. Tuli Reki then rounds a corner and twists down the ride's largest drop. This is where the coaster gets painful. On the initial series of hairpin turns, the coaster really only rocked side to side. The change in elevation on the drop initiates the forward-backward motion. Rocking and bouncing down a drop at the same time is not a comfortable experience. It feels like a shopping cart rolling down a cobblestone hill. And the tight pullout delivers a sudden burst of positive Gs. Normally, I'd enjoy a display of force like this. Tuli Reki actually pulls 3.5 Gs. but it was quite uncomfortable as the car was jackhammering down the hill and through the valley. My body would pinball off the restraint and seat back on this pullout. Tuli Recce then twists back up and down before hitting the second mid-course brake run. These twists offer no enjoyable forces, just jackhammering. After coming to a near halt on the brake run, Tuli Recce navigates back-to-back U-turns that lead to the final brake run. And, like the prior two twists, these were forceless, unless you count jackhammering as force. You then hit the brake run, ending the 1,102 foot, or 336 meter long coaster. So what would I rate Tuli Recce? I would give this coaster a 2 out of 10. While the swinging and rocking motion on a sit-down coaster sounds cool, the execution is very flawed. It turns a relatively boring layout into a jerky and uncomfortable experience. Rather than enhancing the drops and turns, the rocking feels like the roughness you expect on the worst of wooden roller coasters. I went into Tuli Recce with an open mind, but I left thankful there are no more emotion coasters still out there. I'm glad Mack is focusing on other models that deliver a pleasant ride experience. So those are my thoughts on Tuli Recce, the awful Mack emotion coaster at Linnanmäki. Have you ridden a Mack emotion coaster? Do you think that motion is as bad as me? I would love to hear your thoughts about the ride down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canobie Coaster. Thanks for watching.